What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. And we got a big week here in Congress and in Washington, D.C. here. This comes as President Biden just visited the Middle East and Saudi Arabia. A very controversial trip here, got a lot of criticism on it. And even Senator Bernie Sanders, who is not a Democrat, that's a misconception here. Remember, Bernie Sanders is an independent. He's not a Democrat. And even Bernie Sanders has criticized President Biden for going on this trip. Here's what he has to say. Let me know your thoughts on this because he's been very kind of critical of the president here lately. And remember that Bernie Sanders used to be one of the biggest supporters of President Biden. But now, you can let me know your thoughts here on this. Take a listen and then let me know your thoughts.
We're joined now by Senator Bernie Sanders. It's good to see you this morning, Senator Sanders. President Biden is back from his trip, a trip that has gotten a lot of blowback from even your fellow Democrats, especially that fist bump with the Saudi crown prince. You've referred to Saudi Arabia as a brutal dictatorship that crushes democracy. Should Biden have gone?
No, I don't think so. You have a leader of that country who was involved in the murder of a Washington Post journalist. I don't think that type of government should be rewarded with a visit by the President of the United States.
But at the heart of the discussions was oil, and President Biden said that Saudis would take action in the coming weeks. Could that make a difference? And doesn't that explain why he went? What would you have done?
Well, I'm sure that, Martha, that is why he went. But the truth of the matter is, if you're looking at the outrageously high cost of gas at the pumps right now, one of the things we've got to look at is the fact that while Americans are now paying $4.50, $4.80 for a gallon of gas, the oil company profits in the last quarter have been extraordinarily high. And I happen to believe that we've got to tell the oil companies to stop ripping off the American people, and if they don't, we should impose a windfall profits tax on them.
So would you just ignore the Saudis if you were president?
Look, you got a family that is worth $100 billion, which crushes democracy, which treats women as third-class citizens, which murders and imprisons its opponents. And if this country believes in anything, we believe in human rights, we believe in democracy. And I just don't believe that we should be maintaining a warm relationship with a dictatorship like that.
And I want to go back to the economy. How concerned are you about a recession?
Well, what I am really concerned about is that increasingly, Martha, and I think most Americans know this, we are moving rapidly into an oligarchic form of society. You know, we talk about the economy doing poorly for the working class, for the middle class. That's true. But we should also recognize the economy is doing extraordinarily well for the people on top, for the billionaires who have seen a $2 trillion increase in their wealth during this pandemic while 1 million Americans died. So the struggle must be to create an economy that works for all, not just the people on top, a political system which is not dominated by super PACs and billionaires, a media which is not owned by large corporations. And I think the American people, what is very clear, whether you're Democrat, Republican, and independent, people looking at Washington and they're saying, you know what? You don't represent me. You don't know what's going on in my life. I can't afford health care. I can't afford the cost of prescription drugs. I can't afford child care. What are you doing about it? And what people are doing about it is taking money from super PACs or being influenced by super PACs, and the rich get richer.
Senator,
so what we need
I want to turn
all of our people to. Yeah, go ahead.
Senator, I want to turn to Congress and the agenda there. Senator Joe Manchin, of course, abruptly pulled the plug this week on the Democrats'
No, Martha,
plans
he didn't
to
abruptly.
pass.
Martha,
Okay, okay. He abruptly on Friday.
He didn't abruptly do anything.
He was negotiating for a while.
The president's agenda. No, look, if you check the record 6 months ago, I made it clear that you have people like Manchin, Sinema to a lesser degree, who are intentionally sabotaging the president's agenda, what the American people want, what a majority of us in the Democratic caucus want. Nothing new about this. And the problem was that we continue to talk to Manchin like he was serious. He was not. This is a guy who is a major recipient of fossil fuel money, a guy who has received campaign contributions from 25 Republican billionaires. Do you think this guy is serious?
Senator, okay, you say he wasn't serious, but Manchin says his main goal is to do what's good for West Virginia, and he's worried about inflation. Listen to what he told the West Virginia radio station. Listen to this, please.
Is that right?
Inflation is absolutely killing many, many people. They can't buy gasoline. They have a hard time buying groceries. Everything they buy and consume for their daily lives is a hardship to them.
Your reaction to that, Senator?
Well, look, the same nonsense that Manchin has been talking about for a year. West Virginia is a beautiful state. I've had the pleasure of being there. Great people. It is one of the poorest states in this country. You ask the people of West Virginia whether they want to expand Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and eyeglasses. You ask the people of West Virginia whether we should demand that the wealthiest people and large corporations start paying their fair share of taxes. Ask the people of West Virginia whether or not all people should have health care as a human right like in every other country on earth. That's what they will say. In my humble opinion, Manchin represents the very wealthiest people in this country, not working families in West Virginia or America.
And Senator Sanders, I want to end with, if these provisions don't get passed, doesn't look like they will, what does that mean for Democrats' climate goals and the climate itself?
Martha, it ain't Democrats. It isn't the president. It is the future of the planet. So when Manchin sabotages climate change, this is for future generations. What's going on right now in the West, all over the world, we're looking at significantly increased, more and more heat waves. You're going to look at more drought, more flooding. This is an existential threat to humanity. And what this election must be about is whether or not we're going to vote for candidates who are prepared to stand up for working people, stand up for the planet, and have the courage to take on the billionaire class who dominates our economy and our political life. That's what this election is about. The Republican Party is not there. We need more progressive Democrats who are going to fight for workers.
Okay, thanks for joining us this morning, Senator Sanders.
So here's what I don't get from several different people here, like Joe Manchin. He's not the only one out here that say, inflation is ravaging people, which it is for sure. I agree with him there, right? Inflation's really bad. Gas prices really bad. Food prices really bad. So let's say they don't want to pass this, that, or the other thing. We see this from a lot of different, we're seeing this from Republicans here as well, where they want to vote against whatever the Democrats put out there. And I'm not necessarily advocating for the Democrats, but I'm just using this as an example here. If the Democrats, want to pass the child tax credits, they want to pass the Social Security raise for seniors, the Democrats want to pass anything, the Republicans just vote no on it just on principle because of the Democrats, right? The Republicans really aren't putting forward any bills at this point at all because the Democrats are in power, okay? The problem here, and Joe Manchin as well, he's a Democrat. So again, I'm not really choosing parties here, but I'm just kind of using this as examples here. The problem with this is you can't just say inflation's really bad, it's hurting people. What is the solution? What is the solution, right? You can't just say, oh, well, we're going to blame whoever, blame the president, blame the Democrats, blame whoever, blame Putin. Okay, the president blames Putin a lot too. I don't care who you blame, right? What are the solutions? What are the solutions? Okay, and then work towards those solutions. Pass bills, help people that are poor, help people that are low income, help people that are seniors, help people with children, help people with student loans, help people with mortgages, help people that are paying these high interest rates, help all these different group of people, right? If we just vote no on every bill that comes up, whether it's Democrat, Republicans, independents, whoever, what is the point of anything? Oh, we're just going to say, you know what? Inflation's at a 40-year high. And then bills come up to Congress. No, we're going to vote no. We're going to vote no. What is the point? Is it just so we can blame the other political party, whether it's Democrat, Republican, Independent? And don't get me wrong, Democrats have done the same thing against Republicans in the past as well. Okay. This is kind of the problem that we have with Congress, is that we have this two-party political party, and it's one party always blaming the other party, and no term limits as well. We've got these people that have been in Congress for 30 years, all over Congress, and somehow they, a lot of these people get voted in over and over and over and over, and it's tough. There's no term limits, and a lot of times it's just, well, we're just going to blame inflation, and we're going to vote no. We're going to vote no. Yeah, it's unbelievable, right? The thing that really struck me here recently is the bill that to hold gas companies accountable, oil companies accountable for inflation. Yeah, as you can see here, House Democrats passed bill against gas price gouging with no votes from Republicans. So the Democrats passed this in the House, but as you know, because they can pass bills in the House on their own, but it died in the Senate because you can't pass things in the Senate without any Republican votes. That's the problem here, is that no votes from Republicans. This bill is to hold gas companies accountable. This was almost 2 months ago. Look at what has happened to gas prices since then. Okay. Imagine if we were able to hold gas companies accountable for their actions. The UK did this. The UK did this, right? Yeah, Bernie Sanders was just talking about that. They want to do this here in the US, but they need Republican support. The UK slapped a tax on oil and gas companies to ease the pain of soaring household energy bills. So the tax that is on gas and oil companies, remember, these are global companies, BP, Shell, ConocoPhillips, all these different companies. In the UK, they have a new tax on them, and that tax goes to paying the people. It's a windfall tax, and that money is getting redistributed to the people there, so they can use it as like a stimulus check. Imagine that. But the Republicans won't vote for it here. And again, you can let me know your thoughts here, but this is a way to redistribute the wealth instead of just charging us money, instead of just gouging us. And these gas companies, these oil companies are just raking in the dough, billions and billions and billions of dollars more than they made last year. And last year, they actually made record profits. This year, their record profits are way more than last year. As gas prices, they've come down here. You can see this headline here. This headline here was from a few days ago. Gas prices have now dropped for 30 days in a row. This was from January 15th, so it's probably now like 32 or 33 days in a row. And a gallon at the pump costs 44 cents less than last month. So we do have some kind of good news. I'll bring up here the most recent gas prices here. So we are seeing gas price fall. Hopefully they'll continue. That's the big question here. Will they continue? Has the president made this happen? Did this happen on its own? Is this because they released the strategic oil reserves? Is this because of anything the president did? Why did the gas prices fall? That's a good question. Yeah, so you can see here, U.S. gas prices here, national average down to $4.53. So remember, we were over $5 a gallon. So this is a significant drop. We're down 50 cents a gallon here. And you can see it's just continued to fall. A month ago, we were at $5. The all-time high here for regular gas was $5.01. And for diesel was $5.81. Okay. Remember, in California, it's different, but this is the average national prices. Okay. So $4.53 now for regular, and A week ago was 468, so we've dropped 15 cents in just a week here. Diesel down to 554. That has also dropped 11 cents in a week. So that'll help grocery prices and prices at the grocery store. You can also see here oil prices down below $100 a barrel or around. WTI crude at $97 a barrel of oil. Brent crude right at around $100 a barrel. Okay. So, yeah. Natural gas at around 7.1. So, yeah, it is nice to see oil below $100 a barrel here. But really, gas should still be well below $4.50 a gallon with oil below $100 a barrel. This just shows you that the gas price gouging is still well into effect. Honestly, gas should be around $3.50 a gallon instead of $4.50 a gallon with gas below $100 a barrel. The gas price gouging is still well in effect here, guys, from the gas companies. I mean, we're below $100 a barrel. We should not be at $4.50 a gallon, but these gas companies are just making record profits, record profits. I have so many articles here that show, here's a recent one. Here's one. ExxonMobil gas oil company says rising oil and gas prices will let it net a Q2 windfall profit of at least $2.5 billion just for Q2 and just for this one oil and gas company. Shell just reaped an extra $1 billion from oil refining alone in 3 months as gas prices at the pump skyrocketed. Just one company, just from oil refining, just in 3 months. An extra $1 billion. These companies are really taking advantage of us, guys. It's unbelievable. So if you think that they're, and here's the even worse part about this, is that they have all said in their public shareholder reports and their shareholder conference calls, you can Google this, you can look this up, you can go listen to the calls, their public shareholder calls. They don't want to increase capacity. They don't want to make new refineries. I'll show you right here. The Chevron CEO says that no new oil and gas refineries will likely ever be built in the U.S. ever again. They simply don't want to spend the money to do it, and it would lower gas and oil prices, so they're not going to do it. They're never going to likely build one ever again in the U.S. And I believe that one hasn't been built in the U.S. for 50 years. They don't want to increase supply, guys. They don't want to increase refineries. And they also recently said here, here's another recent headline here for you. Why U.S. oil companies aren't rushing to increase production. They've only increased production minimally. They did a little bit because they figured out the algorithm on how much they could increase it, but still keep gas prices really, really high. Because they know exactly what they're doing. They want to increase capacity a little bit, but still keep those gas prices ultra high. Because here's the problem. Now the gas prices are going down a little bit, right? Where are we at here? Right here. This is their fear here. This is their fear that gas prices start going down into the 3s, maybe into the 2s. They want to keep these gas prices ultra high. So this is why they don't want to increase supply and capacity, right? They want to keep these gas prices per gallon in the 4s, close to the 5s. Anything in the 4s, they're reaping billions and billions of dollars of profit. So this is why they don't want to increase capacity. They want to keep these gas prices ultra high so they make billions and billions of dollars. And meanwhile, They'll blame the governments all around the world. They'll blame Biden. They'll blame the US government. They'll blame the UK government, the Canadian government, the European government. They'll blame Putin. They'll blame the governments all around the world because guess what? Gas prices are high everywhere. If you've been watching my show, you know this. Gas prices in Europe are like $7, $8 a gallon in US dollars. Canada, price there is about $6 a gallon. Which is much higher than $4.50 a gallon here in the U.S. They're going to blame all the presidents around the world. They're going to say the same thing everywhere. Why? Because they're trying to just make as much money as possible. They don't care about us. They care about them. They care about making money. And I mean, I get it, right? They're all kind of business owners, but it's a kind of a different story when you have to buy gas and you're that kind of company. It's the same thing when you're like a pharmaceutical company, you're a health company and you have to buy medicine that saves people's lives, right? It's a different kind of company. It's not like you're selling a pair of Nike shoes and people could go buy a different pair of shoes and people don't even need to per se buy that. You know what I'm saying? People could go buy, a really cheap pair of shoes instead of Nike shoes, right? It's a lot different. People are forced to buy gasoline and they can't go compare brands. Gas is gas, right? You go to a gas station and another gas station, it's all the same price. I mean, one, maybe it's a couple penny difference, but you really don't have a choice. You have to put gas in your car. And I mean, yeah, there's some electric vehicles, but I believe the amount of electric vehicles are out there is less than 1% of the cars. And really, most people that have electric vehicles are people that can afford them, people that have the money. Right now, there's not an abundance of used electric vehicles. There's hybrid vehicles. You can get Toyota Priuses used for a decent amount. I think you can get them for less than 20,000. And even, with a payment and stuff, can be pretty affordable. And those things can get like 50 miles per gallon and stuff like that. So you can get some affordable choices there, but you still got to buy gas. You still got to buy gas. It's the same thing with health medication, insulin, and stuff like that. Is when you need insulin, you really have no other choices. Same thing with like asthma medication and blood pressure medication. You have to fill up your gas tank. You have to have electricity and heat for your house. So this is the problem. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'm going to keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, it's completely free to do so. And we'll see what's going to be done. It's going to be a big week here in Congress as they got a lot going on here. So don't miss out on any new videos. I will keep you up to date here. You can click on this video next, which is new money coming out here for SNAP, pandemic EBT, and stimulus. And this video, which is going to be a big month for Social Security for July, August, and September. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.